This is the Cool Photo Tools Podcast, episode number 99, December 26th, 2016.
Are you sick of trying to learn all the new photo software? Are you tired of hearing about the next big thing in photography? Well, neither are we. Welcome to Cool Photo Tools with Jay Pierstorff and Rhonda Spencer.
Today's program is brought to you by Skillshare. For a limited time, get 3 months of Skillshare Premium for just 99 cents. Anyone can take an online class, watch video lessons, and create projects. Over 4,000 premium classes. Go to coolphototools.com/Skillshare for your discount code. That's coolphototools.com/Skillshare. Good morning, cool heads. Welcome back to this last December Cool Photo Tools podcast. My name is Jay Pierstorff, and all the way in the back of the studio, we have Rhonda Spencer.
Good morning.
And back again this week, special guest, Justin Haugen. Welcome, Justin.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back on again. It's been a pleasure.
We weren't through with you.
Yeah, we weren't done with you.
You just got us started on that MagMod stuff, and so we wanted to hear more about it. So just before we get going here, so did both of you get everything that you wanted for Christmas? You get some more gifts and a DSLR camera stuff, lenses, everything.
I got some cool toys, and I'm going to be taking a trip to Seattle, so I'm looking forward to getting out of town. That was my Christmas gift to myself.
All right.
Do you have friends, family in Seattle? Or?
I've got a couple good buddies up there, and I'm going to connect with some local photographers who I've been in touch with on social media. So I'm going to meet some people up there and take some pictures, and hopefully not freeze too much. It's a big difference in weather from here to there.
Yeah, you better dress warmly would be my suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're babies.
Yeah, well, we're just used to that nice weather here in Tucson.
We are.
Okay, so let's talk about some photo stuff. Actually, if we can pick up kind of where we left off last week, we were talking about the MagNetMod, which is at magnetmod.com products, which these are things that attach to your flash unit, and these little light modifiers and stuff that goes on the front of your flash unit. An external flash unit that you'd slide onto the accessory shoe of your camera, your DSLR. So if you want to hear more about that, the episode last week, we talked quite a bit about that. And Justin also had a discount code. You want to tell them what that discount code again was, Justin?
Yes, if you go to the magnetmod.com website, the MagMod website, you can use coupon code Haugen, Haugen, or coupon code TAPP, TAPP, for a small discount at checkout. You get a 5% discount on orders over $100, 10% discount on orders over $200, and you get free shipping.
Very cool. All right, so Rhonda's looking at the website here, and they're throwing this little rubber thing onto the front of the flash unit. What's all that about thing? What's going on with that?
Well, they're showing how easily it attaches and how quickly.
Okay, because it magnetically attaches.
It magnetically attaches.
And so this is a silicone rubber, kind of a snoot-looking thing. Now, the thing that you're looking at is actually...
This is the MagBeam.
The MagBeam, okay.
Which
MagBeam
is similar to the my brain just went dead. Better Beamer.
Yeah, like the old. I see. I have one of those, Better Beamer, and the Better Beamer was a couple of pieces of plastic and a plastic Fresnel lens that you attach some Velcro, and then you would stick it on the front. You would attach it to your electronic flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the idea behind them was that they would focus the light from the flash so that it would carry a much farther distance. So if you were using a 300 or 400 millimeter lens, then you could that light would condense and project farther so that you were able to shoot. Because at 400 millimeter, you're only using a much smaller area, and so you could take that same light, instead of letting it spread out, you concentrate it using the Fresnel lens. Some people say Fresnel because it's spelled Fresnel, but it's pronounced Fresnel. Okay. Anyway, so those worked really well, and I had one, and we were just talking to a photographer who was visiting the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum a couple of weeks ago, George Lepp, very good, famous photographer, and he was talking about how he uses the better beamer because on an African trip that he was taking, when the sun went down and the animals are at some distance, you're using your telephoto anyway. So he was, all the other photographers he was with were like, okay, the sun went down, we can't do anything. And he was like, oh, I've got my better beamer. So he continued to shoot. And so this thing that we're talking about here, the MagBeam Wildlife Kit, is kind of a modern version of that. It's if I take that right, it's got the Fresnel lens, and then it's got a silicone rubber snoot, and the magnet attachment that goes to universally attaches to any of your speed lights. So and it collapses to fold up into your camera case, and then you can pop it out.
So it takes up a lot less space, and it's very quick to use.
Okay, so I think I have successfully described that to our iTunes listeners. So now, Rhonda and Justin, give me the lowdown. I haven't shot with. I got one of these, but it's in the box, so I haven't used it yet. I saw Rhonda. You were talking to George Lepp about this. And He's like, what? What is this? Where do I get one?
Yeah, it was pretty funny because setting in the museum, he had a demonstration presentation, and I'm in the row behind George and had this attached to my flash, and one of the guys next to me said, oh, what is that? And so I go into the thing of telling him it's like a better beamer and showing him, and George whips around, he goes, what is that? So he said, let me see that. So after he gives his presentation, he said that he'd used a better beamer. He says, because of that lady in the second row, he says, I'm going to be using a MagMod now.
It's the better beamer.
It is the better beamer. It is. It's lovely. It's wonderful. Amazing.
The cool thing about this product is when you buy this MagBeam, you're not just buying one modifier that will go onto your flash. You're buying into a system of modifiers. So I can easily take this thing off and put something else on. And so where the advantages of owning this is you're owning a family of modifiers that swap in and out of your flash very quickly and easily. So you can get a variety of looks and have a whole toolkit of different tools that you can use to shape and concentrate light. And so there's a lot of physics in play here, and I'm not smart enough to use all the proper terminology. I barely started using the word Fresnel correctly, but the cool thing about this is it has varying degrees of concentration power where you can actually collapse it down one or two or all the way down and fully extend it all the way out. And what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling in on the silicone and collapsing this holder for the beam or for the Fresnel lens down, but you can extend it fully and get a really concentrated light. It's like you're telescoping your light. Kind of the same concept of if you ever held a magnifying glass out in front of the sun and burned a piece of paper or maybe killed some ants. So
So, oh, come on, we all did it.
So and there's some debate about the proper terminology of what we're doing with light here. It's easy for us to say we're making the light more powerful, but that's not what's actually happening. And if you're an engineer or a physics guru, you would correct me and tell me what we're doing is we're actually concentrating the light. We're focusing the light down, and when you do that, you get a more intense light quality, and so the light efficiency. So you're making the light more efficient in a very tight manner. And when you do that, you can actually throw the light a lot further. So I saw Rhonda showed us this great photo of a hummingbird that she photographed with a 400 millimeter lens. And I can't imagine your distance. You had to have been, 50 feet from that thing?
I was enough away from him.
Yeah, and in bright light conditions, you're still able to throw enough light to fill in your subject.
Your shadows.
In an ambient light environment that's very bright. So it's a really cool tool. The other neat thing about this product, it has a twofold purpose. And so right now, there's one Fresnel lens that's meant to make the light a lot more focused and concentrated. And so you put that one on the front of it, and that's how we use it for the wildlife photography that Rhonda was doing. The other cool thing you can do is you can collapse this all the way down. I'm collapsing it right now, so it's fully collapsed. And then there is a notched Fresnel beam that actually it's a wide-angle diffusion or wide-angle lens, and so we put that into the front of the beam, And then there are a whole collection of masks, these metal masks that MagMod's made that have various cutouts in them to give you different patterns of light. So this one has stars all over it. You can see there's a slit. There's some starburst patterns. There's this Art Deco looking pattern going on here. There's one with 10 diagonal slits in it. One that has like a 4-pane window look. So there's all these different looks. There's one that's also a circular pattern too. And you can slip that into the back side of this as well as a colored gel. So you can actually color your light here if you want to do some neat special effects. And once you have that mag mask in the back side of it and you have the wide angle Fresnel lens on the front of it, you can cast patterns of light onto your surfaces or subjects. So some of these neat pattern ones make for great designs and decoration on the back if you want to do like a background and light up a wall. Or you can take one of these other masks that have a more practical effect, like the slit or the diagonal lines, and you can do some really neat stuff to light your subjects up. And so imagine you had a really small sliver of light coming through a skylight. I can simulate that with these masks and the beam. So it's a cool toy. It's a twofold purpose.
Okay, I have some questions about that. Now, I was just looking on their website, and I don't see any really, maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot here. I don't see any really good examples of that particular device
I
here.
saw that they had them. I got to find it. I was looking too.
You might need to get away from the wildlife kit and get to just the MagBeam product description page.
Oh,
and I
here
think
you go.
should have
Right
it.
here.
Okay,
Super
Rhonda's got it
photos.
here.
Or the blog.
Yeah, here.
Rhonda's computer is loading. Here we go. Okay, make that full screen for us, Rhonda.
Okay.
Okay, so that's showing the Fresnel lens there. The question I had on this was, so this kind of takes this thing to a completely different function. Instead of concentrating the light, to make distance wildlife shots with a concentrated light beam, instead, by putting the wide-angle lens on there, also a Fresnel lens, and then putting these little metal modifiers in the back, it becomes like what we used to call a gobo. Or a scrim or a cookie. They would take little patterns, and they would, and movies used to do this a lot, but still photographers would do it, where they would take a cutout pattern and put it in front of a light and maybe project light through it on the background for a portrait thing. So this would be, you'd need a second flash unit to make a projection on the background, or if you wanted to project across the subject as well, I guess you could use the same light. Am I right on that, Justin? Is that what that's doing?
Correct, and the only limit to these scenarios is your own creativity. So I take two of these MagBeam kits, and I can use
There's
one
an example
as a tight Fresnel concentrated light, amplified light on my subject, and I could take another one and use it as a decorative background design if I want to put something cool, a cool pattern on a background. So you can actually work with two of them, or I could use one for the background lighting, and I can also use another light with a grid or a spear on it. So it's just a matter of how you want to combine these different looks and how you want to light your subjects versus your backgrounds. So
basically, you've got, this is some kind of a wacky thing that I don't think this has been done before that I can think of on, the on-camera flash or the moving camera off the flash, where you've got kind of a light projector by using the different gels, and these different patterned little grids in there, or metal, what do you call those? Masks. Okay, so they have different patterns, and you can project very interesting designs on the background, and kind of a throwback to the old days of using cookies to or cut shapes to project background patterns. But this is way. I mean, you could put this in your camera bag, and you could do this for weddings and stuff. You could take this anywhere. This is very, very portable. You can instantly. I can think of situations where, you don't have anything to work with. Sometimes there's nothing that's very interesting for a background, and here you can create one. Which probably wouldn't work in bright sunlight, but certainly indoors. Anywhere would be. That's very cool, and that's part of the MagBeam. There's a kit that has those parts in it, and they've got all kinds of different assortments on these.
Mm-hmm. And why I'm so excited about this system that I've been using for about a year and a half now is that I can walk into, like I do weddings in town, I do about 20 to 30 a year. I can walk into any venue that I've been in before or that someone else I know has photographed before 100 times And every time I come back to that same venue, I come back with a new set of tools to aid my work. And I know that I can leave with original photo moments that have never happened at that venue before. I can light the background up in a different color with a different pattern from the mag mask, and I can light up my subjects with these modifiers and get really dynamic, unique lighting scenarios. So I never leave with the same photo twice from a venue because I come back with new tools, new techniques, and new ideas every time I show up. And that is probably the best asset of this system, is that it's given me a distinct style and aesthetic to my work that I was missing a couple years ago. And now, through the use of it in practice and application and spending time with it, I'm getting unique photo results that I think give my work a signature look. And it's something that I've embraced and something that I want to share with other people.
Okay. So let's talk about, there's a couple other accessories in here we haven't covered. And this we might as well, because this is pretty innovative, I think, as far as...
It really is. It's something totally different that no one has seen. Mm-hmm. And the price is where you can start small and build. So you're not having to spend a fortune on flash diffusers and modifiers.
Let's tell me about the MagBounce here. Now, this thing is part of their system, so it attaches, with the magnets. Once you have the adapter on your flash, you can just toss this right on there. And this thing is white, and this is made out of silicone rubber as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so this, and I see you have one there on the table. So this is kind of a scoop, a white scoop sort of
shovel.
Yeah, kind of a shovel. I've heard some other interesting descriptions of it as well. But yeah, and it's collapsible. So if you put this in your case and slam the lid on it, it's not going to hurt it.
Indestructible.
Yeah. So how does this create light different than the little bounce card that kind of sticks up out? You can pull out, as most flash units have you tilt the head back and you pull a little white reflector out, and the idea is that you're bouncing the light off the ceiling, but then this little white card or reflector that comes out the back of the flash is designed to throw light backward or forwards into the eye sockets. Because a lot of times you'll bounce a bounce flash will go right off the ceiling, and it will create deep shadows in the eye sockets, which are affectionately called raccoon eyes. And so that's to kind of cure that. Is this the same kind of deal? How would this be different than what's built into your flash, Justin?
So the key thing to note about this is it's a directional light modifier, whereas the spear that we've introduced in the previous episode is a omnidirectional. This spreads light everywhere like a bare bulb would. But the bounce effectively directs the light out the opening. So if you're shooting with it on camera, which if you're thinking between I want the bounce or the spear, but you don't know what to get into first, and you're shooting primarily on camera, I recommend the bounce. You can put it on top of the flash. You stick it on the top of the flash, and say your flash head is pointed upward and forward. You can take this off and turn it in different directions. And I'm very big about light having shape and direction. And so ideally, I like to aim the light to the side. If I got a wall next to me and I've got a subject in front of me, I'd love to turn this light and aim it towards the wall and have it bounce back onto my subject and have them pose relative to the direction of that light. And so the bounce really helps me do that easily. I can turn it around pretty well. And the other thing you can do is, if I'm near a ceiling and I have no walls near me, I may aim it kind of at a 45-degree angle, maybe a 15-degree angle forward, and have it aiming backwards. And what I'm looking for is that it hits the ceiling up above me at an angle and comes back to my subject, and also gives a little bit of front fill because this is somewhat translucent material, so there's going to be some light coming through from through the material as well. So there's a lot of different looks you can pull off. It's a pretty diverse dynamic modifier for changing the direction of light and adding a little more size to the light itself versus using that little diffusion panel, that little reflector panel. So
these are basically they're open on one side, and then the translucent material is on the other side. So they're going to glow, just like the MagSphere, or they're going to give you kind of like a bare bulb with a little more directionality, where one side's cut open, where it can aim towards or bounce off the wall or the ceiling to give you a little softer effect as well. Again, I see, on the website, I see some photographers trying to use these outdoors, and I'm thinking that probably isn't, going to be very effective, and if there's nothing to reflect off of. But close up, well, I guess I'm having trouble visualizing. We need to see a side-by-side comparison. Rhonda, I need you to get on this.
Okay.
And do a comparison. What between the two different products there, the MagSphere and the MagBounce. They're obviously very different looking. I'm just wondering how they actually show up in an image.
And I think you'll see some difference in the quality of the you'll see difference in the harshness and softness of the shadows relative to how far you have the light pulled back. Mm-hmm. So the further back you pull it, the greater the spread will be, and the more you will reduce the contrast between shadows and highlights. And you could effectively pull that off with a bare flash with good exposure triangle, balancing your ambient light versus your flash light for some fill. But when you throw on a modifier like the Bounce, you get a little more spread. I feel like it makes the light source a little bit bigger. We've done some comparison tests where we did a umbrella from 12 feet away from the subject, about 9 feet up in the air, and using the Bounce as well from the same distance and position. And there wasn't a huge discernible difference between the quality of the shadows between the umbrella and the Bounce from that distance.
Yeah.
So it's not a replacement for an umbrella. An umbrella is a larger source of light once it has light passing through it. But it is, in a pinch, a pretty appealing quality of light between 2 to 10 feet from your subject.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, switch over to my computer. Look. Larger light, smaller package.
So what Rhonda is showing here is this is on the MagMod.com website. And what am I looking at exactly? Which one are they showing here?
Okay, so there you have, I assume, regular flash.
Or no flash.
Or no flash, yeah. And then showing fill flash. It says it's basically a small soft box that fits in your pocket.
Yeah, I would agree with that, except that as a softbox, the closer you can get it, the softer the light's going to be, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with any light modifier. And sometimes that's what, there's a point where you're a certain distance away, it won't matter, if you get too far from the subject with these.
Yeah, and a great application of this is if you're using it on camera or off camera. I could stand very closely to a wall and have the scoop pointed towards the wall. And then when it hits that wall and bounces back onto my subject, I've increased the surface area of the light considerably. And that's when we start to get into the softer light quality of the light. And that's where, like, if you're next to a large large window with a diffused fabric with light coming through it, it's a very soft, appealing light quality. I can mimic that by bouncing light off of a large white wall, for example.
Yeah, I would think these are going to be most effective where you're indoors with lighter white walls and a fairly low ceiling. Would
yes.
be my guess on that. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool stuff. Well, so what have we missed here that we haven't talked about in the kit yet? While we got an expert here, let's just run through these. I'm just saying. Oh, we got the MagSnoot we haven't talked about here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't bring the Snoot today. I have a friend borrowing it, and he really loves it. I'll explain it though. It's similar.
Yeah, I can just show a picture of it.
There you go.
Okay, so this again is a silicone rubber thing, and it collapses down. Right, so you can squash it in your camera bag, and it doesn't hurt it.
Mm-hmm. And the further extended out it is, the more circular and smaller the pattern of light becomes, and it's very pinpoint. I've put a groom on a wall, and he's leaning against the wall, and I put the Snoot on the flash parallel to the wall, and I'm able to feather the light and aim it just at his face, fully extended, about 12 feet away, and I had that light pinpoint precisely hit his face only with no spill on the wall that he was leaning on. Normally you'd want that subject a little bit off the wall, and you'd have an easier time not hitting the light on the wall, but with a little bit of finessing it, I was able to hit just his face, no spill on the wall. That's how tight the light control is with the Snoot. So it's pinpoint accurate light.
Okay, anything else we need to talk about on the MagMod stuff that we haven't really?
I like I said, I'm really amazed with it. I think they're wonderful. I'm turning my friends on to them. It's like nothing more I can say.
I'd like to talk about the last thing here that's really huge, become a key part of my photography, is the gels. And we've got there's 3 different gel kits you can get. And if you buy, and I recommend to everyone look into the basic kit. You should start with the basic kit because it comes with a grip to go around the head of your flash. It comes with a grid to help you control the spill of the light. It comes with a gel holder. And then it comes with a pack of corrective gels. And corrective gels are probably one of the most key parts of my photography in using off-camera light, because light from your flash that doesn't match the light in its ambient environment doesn't look very intuitive. It looks out of place, and that's where we can start to make the light look a little more intelligent. Make it look like makes a little more sense. And so if I'm shooting in neon light or not fluorescent light environments, I would throw a plus green filter or gel on the head of my flash, and I can match the color temperature of my flashlight with the fluorescent light and make it look a little more balanced. It'll look that light casts off a green tint, and so you throw this gel on your flash, and it'll look closer in color temperature. The other thing I like to use a lot is the quarter and half and full CTO. Let me see if I can pull them out here. So I've got a full CTO gel right here. It's an orange one, and that helps you match the incandescent light bulb settings, candlelight as well. Sometimes candlelight runs a little more orange, so I got to throw an extra half CTO gel to get the color of the light to look closer to that. And the other neat thing about these gels is you can start using them in creative ways too. So say I were to put a orange full CTO gel on the head of my flash, and I'm shooting at sunset, for example. The head of your flash matches the color temperature of sunlight within about 500 degrees. So sunlight's at 5,000 Kelvin and your flash is at 5,500 Kelvin. If you were to throw this full CTO onto your flash, you'll get a much warmer quality of light from the speed light. And when you hit your subject with that, and then later or in your white balance correct for that full CTO. So say I were to shoot at 3,500 Kelvin temperature, which is the temperature of incandescent, I'll have a normal looking subject and push the hues, the color temperature of my ambient light much bluer, so I can get the shadows and the ambient temperature to look bluer in the environment, but have my subjects look normal white balance. So it's kind of a fun thing to mess with, because you start to play with color theory. Like if we push those ambient hues to a bluer tone, but our subjects look a little more warmer, they're going to pop more from the background instead of being so apparently matching the temperature of the color of the environment. The other fun thing is you can throw a green gel onto your speed light, photograph your subjects, and then try to correct for the green tint that you put onto your subjects, and you'll get a purple sky. And so I really take creative liberty with that, and I can get really purple skies, but my subjects look normal. So it's a fun little thing to play with the gels. It's very important in my photography.
That's cool.
So they make like 3 different sets.
Mm-hmm.
They make the color temperature ones, and they make a couple different artistic ones, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So there's creative ones. They're like our primary colors. They're very intense colors. You get creative orange, blue, purple, yellow, green, and then the artistic set is a little more pastel. And you can actually combine some of the artistic ones to get different color quality. Different colors.
I see. Okay, I think.
And again, for like $30 a piece, not bad.
Yeah, so you could get a few $100 invested. Maybe a little bit more than that on all the stuff that they have.
Well,
they got plenty of stuff.
That's true.
And it's all modular, so everything you buy is going to continue to add to your toolkit of modifiers that you have. So you can start with one set and then build up. So I started with that basic kit. Then I got the spear. Then I got the bounce. Then I got the snoot. So then I realized I wanted more grids, because the more grids you stack, the tighter your spread of light becomes. So there's a lot of ways to keep adding to your kit and introducing them slowly into your photography as you learn and get better with it.
So when you go to a wedding or an event like this, do you take the whole 9 yards with you? Do you take everything?
The whole shebang. And I've done a lot of travel this year. I was in Charleston shooting a wedding, and I went to Cabo, and I bring my MagMod kit. I have 3 flashes. They're all fitted with the grip. And I bring a couple spears, 4 grids. I bring the beam. I bring the bounce. I bring the snoot. And I put it all on the top of my Pelican case. And I close it down. And I have no worries about it crushing or messing anything up. It's indestructible. It will reform to its original shape. And it never stays deformed. So I bring it with me everywhere. And even when I travel, I don't compromise the amount of tools and the quality of my product, my deliverables to my clients, because I'm still using the same kit that I work with when I'm here in Tucson, working with brides and grooms here in town. So I would like to make the distinction that when you're working with these modifiers, we're not making light softer per se. We're shaping light. We're giving it purpose and being very deliberate. And I used to carry around a huge strobe with me, like an Einstein. You've probably talked about it on the show before, an Einstein with a battery pack on it, a vagabond, and then like a 28-inch beauty dish. It's a workout. So if you're assisting me, you better do your bicep curls, because it's pretty heavy gear, and someone's got to lug. I often lug it around with me, and it's a huge production. And I bring that stuff because I love big, soft light. I love that quality of soft light modifiers, like a large softbox or beauty dish. And I stopped doing that about a year ago. I went all in on just bringing speed lights, and I reconciled that if I'm going to find or use soft light for a beauty portrait, I'm going to find it. So my objective on wedding day, if I'm working with the bride and I want to get a nice, gorgeous beauty portrait of the bride at like 85 millimeters, really close to like wide open aperture, I better find nice window light or directional light coming from a hallway, and that's how I shoot that portrait. But if I'm going to use off-camera light, I'm only using speed lights. I'm only using the MagMod system, and that's how I create dynamic lighting situations, usually like environmental type portraiture.
That says a lot.
Okay.
No,
So-
it does. For you to go and you've switched from that all the way over, that says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what time it is.
Wow.
I know. We've just talked our
did
way
it
through
again.
another entire episode.
Wow.
So I hope everybody's enjoying the little gap between Christmas and New Year's there.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you after New Year's. Well, if we don't drink too much and we all show up. I don't know. Could
Jay,
happen.
where else do we have to go?
I'm going to get lost in Seattle.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you'll have to fly back briefly. Maybe you can drop in on us and see how you did after that. So I'd like to thank Justin Haugen for, again, guesting on the show and really bringing us up to speed on the MagMod gear, because I know Rhonda and I are both kind of like very new to this. So it's nice to have somebody that really has the experience and can zero in and let us know what all this stuff is for. Pretty cool stuff. And we do have a discount code, which Justin shared at the beginning of the episode. We'll put that link to that in the show notes if you want to get a discount, and who doesn't, on all this new MagMod stuff. So okay, until next week. Thanks for showing up, everybody, and we'll talk to you then.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cool Photo Tools podcast. Sign up for our mailing list at coolphototools.com. Got a question? Send an email or MP3 audio file to info@coolphototools.com. Thanks for listening.